to this show, just one more question. I'm so happy to do something new and to bring to you people who matter, individuals who make a difference. And why? Because our lives must have a purpose. Yes, everybody wants success. Everybody goes after success. But here, I bring you people who do not follow success. They follow their heart, and success decides to follow them. And that is what makes them so special in my eyes. Let's redefine success. If we all decide to redefine success as getting wiser and wiser by the day, in that sense, then we make a difference. Because without wisdom, what are we? And it is this wisdom that I have seen in our guests today. I welcome both of you, and I'm very happy that finally we are having you on air, because believe me, I've been pursuing them for a date, an appointment since October. It's taken me 6 months to get them here, and we'll talk about them and talk to them and discover what is it, what is the thought process behind people who follow their heart, find their purpose, and they give back to the society. This entire show is about how you change within so that you can bring about change outside in the world. And what is it that makes all the difference when it comes to taking this decision and going forward, going ahead with it without stopping? What makes them unstoppable and what makes them very special and rare? Imagine who brought computers to Oman at the educational level. Do you know the answer? Do you know how did it happen? And what would be the case if we did not bring them in at that time? Let me tell you, my guest today, Kamal Khimji, was the pioneer of bringing computers and ICT to 75 schools of Oman. Thanks to her, have computerized education. So it's just amazing that she has moved on from there. 1996, 75 schools of Oman. She has brought in computer education, and then there has been no stopping in her journey. Can you imagine, just one person has not only done education sector support and pioneering, but also women empowerment, health, spirituality, trauma relief. And I want to say here, behind every successful woman, there's a successful and a very supportive spouse. And I'm so happy to have you here, Ajay bhai. Ajay Khimji, and Khimjis need no introduction. More than 100 years now in Muscat and in Oman. I think every aspect of our life, they play a role on a daily basis. They are a business empire spread in almost every sector and dealing with 100 plus leading brands. To be at the topmost level of your business and to decide to move on, what beyond this legacy, this inheritance was the inspiration. Let's find out what lies behind the decisions. Talking about the journey so far, I would like to ask you about one turning point that changed your life.
Actually, what really changed my life, it happened very subtly. I cannot just pinpoint when it changed, but definitely my meeting the master, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar in Rishikesh, was the point when I knew I'm in the right place and this is what I want to do. and to do service. It was what I wanted. I never thought I'd ever become a meditation teacher or an art of living teacher or serve in this way. It's such a high level of serving because one can give money to people to sustain their livelihood, but it's not necessary they will be happy. So the tools that I have been given to share with people, to share joy, to bring transformation, that was the what has really impacted my own life. That's why I did it, meeting him, meditating, having the tools to even condition my mind to be happy and transform my own life. That was my turning point, I feel. That was in 1999 when I met him, maybe Shivratri time, maybe it was March or April.
And this realization has benefited thousands and thousands of people in the last 2 decades. They have both taught the art of living courses, which are tools to find your bearings, to overcome grief, and to be able to do something that really matters. More than 17 countries of the world they have been visiting and giving the courses, and so many times. What is a greater gift than giving away your time? Because we all know the uncertainty of the next breath. How do you want to use your time? And this realization, I think, has been the greatest gift to us, because you realized that it's not always money which is a support. True support comes emotionally, and it comes in ways that you have to even look at a trauma relief case and a substance abuser case and a prisoner and a teacher and a businessman. You get to see the gamut of professionals and even the corporate sector where you have made so much difference in refocusing people's attention within and towards the world. And I think your realization has been a blessing. I would now like to go on to the second question. How does it feel to experience gratitude? Can you tell us any story where you met a person and you did what you do by your second nature, unconditionally support and help them, that I have personally experienced? Tell us about a story that remains with you forever.
Actually, as part of our programs, we teach breathing techniques and meditation, and we have regular follow-ups. So initially, when we started in the beginning, that time there was not so many, there was not internet going on like this, and social media was through flyers. We didn't have WhatsApp or mobiles, and then so we used to print flyers and used to give it out, and the telephone numbers were given on the flyers. So somebody who saw my number called, and he was speaking in a vernacular language of India, and he seemed very disturbed. So I invited him to come for one of the follow-ups, and he came for the follow-up where he met me, and he continued and he told me his story that he wanted to leave and it was difficult for him to get the release, and his sister had to get married, and he had a whole load of difficulties. So I told him, okay, you don't keep any worry now, you do your breathing techniques and you drop your worries right now, and you write me a letter. I'm going to India, to Bangalore, and I will take it to the master. You write what you require and you be free now. So he continued to come for a few days of practices. And in a month or two, he told me he got the release, what he required, and he was leaving. But he wanted help to buy some TV for his sister. You know, in India in those days, giving a TV was a big thing. So he said, from all my savings, I have just one sister, I want to give a TV to her. And of course, some wedding, whatever his mother had told him, or so he wanted shopping. So a couple of times he rang me up that, can you organize somebody, because I don't have a car. You know, he was a blue-collared worker, so he had no means of transport, or he was living in a labor camp. So can you help me send somebody and we can go shopping? So as Art of Living, you know, people are very caring and sharing. So as a team, we were helping, and he got everything and he finally left. Even for the airport, you know, some of our people, and we had I'd organized a car for him, and it all happened well. Then suddenly, after a few days, I get a call from the same number, and I said, what does he want? When he said hello, I said, now what does he want? The thought came in my mind. And all he said was, I called you to thank you for what you have done for me, because I had no relatives, I had nobody in Oman, but you were there for me. And thank you so much. You were like my very own. And he just said thank you, and he put the phone down. And he was really happy that his sister's wedding went well. You know, after he put the phone down, I cannot tell you how the tears ran down my eyes, because the thought had come, now what does he want? As a teacher, even I had been saying, love is not it's not an emotion, it's our very nature. But to really experience and understand it, you know, that each and every one is the same. They all have that unconditional love. All of them know that love is what sustains them. Love is our nature. But you know, it never really struck me that each and every person has this. Sometimes it was a condition, judgment, which came. What does he want now? And I really am so grateful to that person, that barrier, or that whether you call it the curtain, it dropped just because of this experience. No, everyone has love. See how he thought. He didn't need to, he was not a very rich person. He had to make an international call, and he had to go outside to do that call, and he made a point to call just to thank. There was no reason to do it. He was already home. But he did it. Till today, I'm sure he doesn't remember my name. I don't know his name, but love was the bonding between us. You know, there was no relationship except love. You know, that is what I learned, and that is what is my keep from this incident.
It's a very simple story, but it's so heart-wrenching. How many times we consider giving support to complete strangers, and when we do that, we don't realize how much difference it makes to them. To say that I had no relatives here and you were like my own family, I don't think there's a greater compliment to receive than that. And I think the journey that happens within, when you have been reading and listening to a lot of things about unconditional love, is one thing. But from the experience, you make the journey towards complete insight. It's an insight that really the only human bonding that matters is the bonding of love. I would now move on to experiences from Ajay Bhai, and let's begin with your most unforgettable advice that you have received, implemented, and benefited tremendously from.
Well, to start, I would say that I'm very fortunate by doing the Art of Living program. And of course, meeting the Master, Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar. It's a blessing in disguise, because what I was and what I am, there is so much, I would say, it has been a journey for me. Yes, what was happening before to me, before I came into Art of Living and before meeting the Master, I used to worry a lot. Worry was, like carrying a tank on my head. Every moment, every incident was a worry. At the same time, I seldom used to smile. Now, all that has transformed in a very big way. Like, of course, I've always been in Oman, born and brought up, and business also in Oman, family business. Even I had business in other Gulf countries like UAE. And one fine day, due to some reasons which you cannot even imagine or even think about it now, that I had to relocate myself. And that time, when I had so many issues, so many problems, how to deal with it, the smile had not disappeared. Neither the worry. Instead, I was trying to reach out. Where is the worry gone? There is so much in front of me. How am I going to deal with it? And it was just unimaginable. I would say thanks to the practice of the breathing technique, which has changed and transformed people's life. Over 400 million people today have experienced.
Wow.
Yes, the program was very challenging for me because I had never experienced. But the breathing technique, which is the Sudarshan Kriya, which I was practicing daily, come what may, and I had not left at all. So I think, or I don't know whether it's a blessing or whatever you may call it, that took away my worries and that smile, which today also I can withstand and I can face challenges. Of course, ups and downs we all have. Every day there is something or the other. But these tools, which I personally feel that everybody should experience. There can be a lot of excuses. I don't have the time, and this is not for me, and age is a factor, and I'm too young. This is all excuses. To look after yourself, to lead a good life, to be focused, how to prioritize your work, whether it's at home or at your own work or business. This tool is essential and very important in our daily life. Irrespective of the age, one can really transform themselves and lead a good life. And my message will be, everybody, just don't think. Just jump into the first available program and you will see to yourself. I can keep on talking through this entire program, but to experience is another level.
So breath work, breathing techniques, Sudarshan Kriya are the tools to manage stress, worry, anxiety, and everyday problems that are inescapable, inevitable. To be better prepared is to be empowered. And tell us more about how many countries and how many people have you taught this course, and how many different strata of society you have reached, including, I have several pages of their contributions, mind you, but I actually was very impressed to see that you have also done workshops in prisons and done trauma relief during GONU. You are also using the breathing techniques for substance abusers. And Oman has greatly benefited. So maybe you would shed light on your experiences in Oman and in other parts of the world.
Well, to be honest, I've never kept a count, It was just moving ahead wherever the requirement was there, wherever the programs were scheduled. I used to travel. Of course, Oman was always there, to all the GCC countries, Middle East countries like Jordan, Lebanon. And of course, the biggest responsibility which I have now is to overlook and see how we can bring more and more people on this beautiful path, and how an individual can benefit and make a change individually. So with these programs, it has really helped, and people have really benefited, and of course more will do and will benefit, because at the end of the day, these tools are very important. People will have no choice. If you really want to lead a good life, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be service oriented, because besides the programs, we even have other projects. We have, like Kamal was mentioning, about women empowerment. Then we have Go Green projects. We have prison programs. There also, like hardcore people have, transformed immensely. In their time spending in prison has come down tremendously, or even they at some stage they've been freed, which is unthinkable, and you can't even imagine.
And greatest reward to you.
Well, it's all teamwork, Yes.
But you lead.
It's all teamwork.
No, I can just say like you were talking of substance dependency and prisons. So in some of the programs that we've done, the people have really felt that they did not understand why they committed crimes or they did the wrong things. That transformation came from within. And many of them who were released have now got back into normal life.
Wow.
And even for substance dependency, we have separate programs. So Ajay has taught, we have taught, we recently also did a silence program for them. And some of them now want to take this knowledge to others.
Spread it.
To spread it. And, from the substance dependency, I can say that we have incidents of some people who are bold and want to keep in touch, and they've got jobs in various countries. Sometimes you may not be accepted back into the country where you are in, and people may feel a little shy also, but they've become bold and faced the challenge, gone to some neighboring countries or wherever they are comfortable, and they have now got jobs, and they are just normal people. That is past. They've left that life where they were in prison or they had substance dependency. It's so good, to see, so rewarding.
To see them beginning a new life altogether.
Yes.
And there can't be a greater achievement than touching a life that had gone to the doldrums and seeing them rise from the ashes like a phoenix. And it's all because of the Art of Living courses, and that you selflessly go and serve them there. Accolades to you and gratitude to you. It's the grace of the Master that shines upon both of you. Why would you otherwise go where normally people don't? It's something within that tells you, this is my purpose of life. And the purpose makes you happy. What makes us really happy and content is to live a life with purpose, focus, and to render service wherever required. 2007, all of us saw Gonu wash down Kuram. Thousands of riyals were lost in business. It was a very difficult time. And Muscat, being a city not used to flooding, was in a state of complete shock and trauma. Can you tell us more about your trauma relief program at that juncture when people thought that there is no hope? How did you show them hope again?
No, we have a special some techniques and meditations that we were doing. So I had gone with a ladies group from the Oman Women's Association, myself, and with a group of volunteers. You know, in Art of Living, that's the best thing. You're never alone. You always have your teammates and who will always come with you.
That's the backbone.
That's the backbone, you know,
of the organization.
Of the organization. That you never struggle to get help. So there was always people who want to serve also. So as a team we went and we did work in the interiors. Actually the locals were only taking us that where people were, they didn't have homes anymore. So they were in halls. So we used to go there and teach the breath, water, sound program and give them some meditations. And you know, they used to just smile after that. They said, we've lost everything, but we just feel so relaxed, please come back to us. So we did those programs in parts, and also as a chapter, you know, some of the hotels had given us halls in that time. And we used to just put people of, you can come and do free meditations and programs, please do come. And then we had groups of people who would come to meditate. And Gonu was one thing, but people have personal trauma also, right? So we did a lot of, then slowly teachers started spreading out in their areas. Whoever wanted to come for meditations, we continued that. And then we did a triathlon with the Oman Charity Organization. Okay. And we raised funds for houses for
to be rebuilt.
To rebuild. So we did it with them. So it was a lot of fun. So our service projects come like that. We had this sports event, which 3 sports we did with various teams. That time there was the Oman Athletic Association was there. So we did it with them and various teams and our Art of Living teams. And support from various corporates.
And I think you also arranged old clothes and old stuff to be, you know,
new
organized.
Clothes also, new clothes also and old clothes also.
Yeah.
So we organized.
And you had an overwhelming response?
Yeah. That we do regularly, you know, for clothes, food. As a Art of Living, globally we do that. So wherever there's a need, we do it. And we do it regularly for people who need also. Like, we have our blood donation camps, we have food camps, like Ramadan food we do.
Okay.
And
I think recently you also had a no plastic project where I think how many schools participated? More than 15?
Yeah, we did the environment project like that. 35 schools had done. That was some time back when we started this no plastic campaign. That was also in conjunction with many of our teachers participated also with us, especially the children's teachers. We had the kids teachers, we had all got together and we introduced it to schools where they had 1 week of environment day in which we did that.
So be it environment, be it stress-free world, be it education and computers, be it service to mankind, be it relocating substance use abusers, what have we and they are contributing. That's why they are individuals who matter. Individuals who have changed within, found a master, found the tools to tackle life better, and have not stopped at that. They have then pioneered so many programs, brought together thousands of people, and made a difference. That's why these are the individuals who matter. I have one more question. Tell me more about any coincidence that's unforgettable? That, you still look at it and say, wow, I didn't expect that to happen.
I think in the art of living, we depend on, you call it a coincidence, you may call it a miracle, you may call it a blessing.
Wow.
So we kind of know that, yeah, if our intention is good, something will come up.
Something works behind the good intention, and there's a power always supporting
always the
you.
higher power,
Like, I would like to add here that, don't think that you are a doer. There is a higher power behind it.
So,
when you drop the doership, everything just sails. You don't even have to look behind. And that is the part of the service integration also. Because when you do service, you yourself become empowered as an individual. Because the more service you do, the more seva you do, that also empowers you.
so
Like
So the
three
more
things-
selflessly you give, the more empowered you become yourself.
Like
Yeah.
three things, with Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar says, which are very important in our life. Sadhana, which is our daily practice, the Sudarshan Kriya, the yoga, the meditation. Secondly is the service. Yeah,
Sadhana, seva.
save. And the last one is satsang. Satsang is being in a company of truth. Every day you just have, and like knowledge is also discussed.
And we
delivered
become
by-
the people we meet.
Yes.
So
correct.
satsang is being in good,
Yeah.
positive company.
Absolutely.
And those
Positive
vibes,
energy.
those
Yeah.
vibes and that energy lifts us up as well.
Yes.
So it is equally important. Wonderful. Sadhana, seva,
Seva and
satsang.
Correct.
Just one more question.
Yeah.
Success follows you everywhere. You keep moving ahead. But in your daily life, who makes you laugh? Because laughter is a wonderful gift for the soul. Who is that person who makes you laugh? Yeah.
there are many, of course, children always make you laugh and smile, and your friends make you do that also. But children are the ones who I think make us forget all our even our challenges sometimes. Just by observing them, we start smiling, or by their questions. Of course, we learn a lot from them, but also we have to give them values. So, there's one incident of one of my sons when I was doing one of the programs, and they said that you do a random act of kindness or tell somebody that you really love them. This was one of the process we had to do. And we also learned that people hold on to the negativity. They always doubt positive. This is one of our points that we teach, that one doubts the positive. So I just called my son and I told him, I'm so proud to be your mother and I really love you. What was his response? He says, are you all right? He says, what's wrong with you? And so, that made me laugh so much that, we live the knowledge in our own house, because we are not used to, sometimes you're not so expressive and to tell somebody, I really love you. And, when you say that, they just don't believe. They say,
They don't expect it. They wonder.
Why?
Where did it come from?
Where did this come from?
Okay.
So this is so many stories like that.
And
that,
what about your grandchildren?
Oh, my grandchildren! I've got 3 grandsons. Each of them has their own personality, and that's the way. They also just always joke, always laugh, always make me laugh. Let me think. What can I tell you? Well, again, what's coming to me again is coming one more time about both my children actually. Then I can jump to the right now. That is what's coming is that you know, after I started meditating more, I love meditation. Sahaj Samadhi is what I adore. I adore meditation a lot. So I used to meditate a lot, and you know, my anger suddenly reduced. Suddenly means subtly and suddenly, but not that I realized. I used to smile more often, you know, kind of, and you feel blissful, you know. So, you know, my children, sometimes they would be extremely naughty and they wouldn't want to study. So I told them, okay, if you don't study, you're not going to get good grades. If you don't get good grades, I don't know if they will promote you to the next class. Do what you want. And you know, they were so upset with me. They said, what's wrong with you? Do you love us any less now? What have you done with your programs that you're doing? I think you love us less. I said, why? He said, you're not shouting at us. So sometimes they used to do things just for attention, you know, just to get it. And that's what I
And
realized.
they expected tough love. So when you did not get tough love, they worried.
They worried that why have you, you don't love us at all now? I said, of course I love you, but you know, it's just, then I learned to be skillful, to feign anger, you know. So that's what you learn from children, right? When you learn a lot from children. And that's how it is, no? So kids are kids, and grandchildren are grandchildren, and all the children are like that. In all my Art Excel courses also, the children, they will just, if I'm lazy to do yoga, they would imitate me. So now I make sure that I will get an expert yoga teacher, and I'll teach them the other tools. Okay. So they will copy us, you know, whatever we do, they'll remember. It's the children remember everything you tell them. So we have to be cautious what we speak, because they imbibe whatever you tell them, they get. And
I think Art of Living does parenting workshops also, which is, I think, a need of the day.
Yes, parenting also, and know your child.
Know the child.
Know your child, know your teen.
What are that workshops
Know your
about?
child, you know, like children also, when they are small, they are stressful, you know. They don't want to do their homework. They are glued to the computers, become, you know, like couch potato.
And very distracted all the time.
So we teach, in the sense, we give guidance on how to deal with all these issues. It's a 2-hour interactive session. It's a wonderful, I would suggest all parents should do. And now we have many teachers here in Oman. And we conduct.
Because I think parenting is something very dynamic. Yes. We cannot parent our children how we were parented, because we lived in a different world.
Correct.
And the children today are living in a different world.
It's a new age.
It's a new age, and what is worrisome is the world is changing so fast.
Yes.
So dynamic parenting is possible only if you take parenting workshops. It's no longer something that you can do as your parents did. Yeah. And I think this is also another great contribution of Art of Living to reach parents, because that's where, you know, the children matter and they are the future. So that's where our focus should be in parenting. And I think the other wonderful thing is, my mother has studied in 1950s in the first Khimji Ramdas Vidyalaya, Kanya Vidyalaya in Mandvi.
Really? Okay.
And my daughter also studied in a school where you are so involved, international school, Cambridge curriculum, Wadi Kabir. And I see that it is over generations that your family is involved in education, and also now in parenting and Art Excel.
And even teens, which is a very difficult age.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because they also go through a lot of changes in their life.
Yeah, and the sooner you mold them,
Absolutely.
the better and more rewarding.
Yeah. Now also there are, Gurudev has started programs on intuition. So where the children's intuition opens up,
It's
he's
like
given
opening
some
your sixth
sense. So those are very, very popular. Like especially the children, they get exam stress, and sometimes there is difficulties in the family where the children can't cope. So when they are very intuitive, they become very light. They know how to handle the situations, and no exam fear. And they become very confident young.
So this
children.
is a 3-day workshop or
The
a couple
intuition
of
is 2 days.
2 days.
2 days. It's 2 days, it's 2 hours. So there are few teachers that Gurudev
And
has
that also involves breathing techniques?
some meditations,
Some
and
meditations
things
are
are
there.
there. And some techniques are there, breathing meditation. But they are special, just made for
Because
this program.
children by birth,
By
they're very
nature,
intuitive.
they are intuitive.
And in this program, it really empowers them. They become very solid.
In fact, adulting is losing the gifts of intuition because you get boxed, your thinking gets boxed. So I think intuition should be a very, very important workshop for children.
Yeah.
Okay, just one more question.
She keeps asking one more.
It's called Just One More Question. And it's the poet in me. Either of you can take it. Both of you can take it. Just one more question.
I hope it is simple.
I don't know. Do you like poetry? Which poem comes to your mind first?
On killing a tree.
Jeev Patel.
Absolutely. This is the poem which I always remember in school days.
And I had the fortune to listen to it recited by Jeev Patel himself at Mumbai University while I was doing
Oh,
MA.
wow.
And when Jeev Patel read that poem, it just came out alive. And it's one of the poems that has always remained with me, on killing a tree. And it's beautiful, and what comes unexpected in that poem is he says it's difficult to kill a tree because a tree regrows.
Yes.
And I hope that every time you're down in the ashes, you learn to fly back, you rise, you grow, and you evolve like our inspirational models we have met today. And I believe we become the people we meet. Let's not wait for the change to come from outside. Let's first change ourselves, empower ourselves, and move ahead and change lives that are around us with unconditional love. Thank you so much, and what a delight, and I'm so thankful
Thank
that
you for
both of you
inviting us.
gave me your
you.
time. That is the most valuable gift you can give somebody, is your time and attention.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.